श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं भातरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। बुकारो अन्धकारो वैरुकारस्तन्निवर्तकः अन्धकारनिरोधित्वात् गुरुरित्यभिधीयते। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ नमो भगवते वैवस्वताय मृत्यवे ब्रह्मविद्या आचार्याय नचिकेतसे नमः। So we already saw the 12th verse of the Kaṭha Upaniṣad, third session. Now we are going to the 13th verse, which we stopped in the last class. I will read that and I will give the explanation. Yachet vang manasi prajñah tad yachet jnane atmani jnanam atmani mahadi niyachet tad yachet shante atmani. I will read once more. Yachet vang manasi prajñah tad yachet jnane atmani jnanam atmani mahadi niyachet tad yachet shante atmani. So, Lord Death already given the advice to the Nachiketas regarding the subject matter and also how to come to this subtle thing from the gross things. We are all familiar with the gross things, but we are not familiar with the subtle things. When we are unfamiliar or we are not able to see the things which are beyond our senses, how can we reach that things from the gross to the subtle? Here, now again, he repeat, keeping the same idea in the mind, but in a different way, to resolve the material world and to reach into the real goal or the intrinsic nature of an individual. Same idea is presented in another way. superiority is graded there according to the subtle nature of the things, like manasastu para buddhihi, we resolve from one to one, and at last we reach the real nature of an individual. Here, it is a preparatory step for a person who want to pursue in the pursuit. And suppose we enter into the spiritual pursuit without any preparatory steps. Nothing wrong on that. Still, we can put effort on the preparatory steps. Readiness matters in everything. Suppose we want to go to a race, a running race, 100-meter dash. On the day of the contest, we cannot go and win the medal. We need to put effort at least for 3 or 4 months, keeping the idea of making winner in the match or the contest of 100-meter race. So daily we need to train ourselves. Suppose if you get a proper guidance, that will be more helpful. But I am the person who has to put effort myself in order to reach as a winner in that contest. I am just giving one example. Anything, the readiness, the effort what we have already put matters in the success. That is why in Bhagavad Gita and another doctrine of Lord Krishna, it is treated as another scripture, and it has the status of fifth Veda. Bhagavad Gita is an advice given by the Krishna to another disciple called Arjuna. In that Bhagavad Gita, he explains the entire pursuit, but few times he repeats one word, abhyasaha. What is meant by abhyasa? Doing one thing daily at the same time without losing the spirit, without losing the enthusiasm, without losing the energy. Same level, one do daily one thing at a particular time. That's called abhyasa. It can be cooking, it can be drawing, it can be writing, it can be chanting, it can be swimming, it can be running. When you do one and the same action repeatedly at the same time daily for a length of time, that is called abhyasaha. In English, it can be translated as exercise, a repeated homework. We can extend this for another word called preparation, readiness. Readiness from the side of the person. Very important. In order to achieve anything in the world, one needs to prepare a lot for a length of time. So, preparation, abhyasaha, is very important. In spiritual pursuit also, a person should have certain disciplines, certain values, certain mindset to accept what is right and to give up what is wrong, certain way of lifestyle, blissfully, with full will, accepting what is given in this particular day, whether it is a failure or success. A mind which is not fluctuated according to the different happenings in the daily life. All these things one will acquire due to the preparatory steps of spirituality. It's very important. Preparatory steps are told in different ways in different scriptures. Suppose accidentally we enter into a spiritual pursuit. For example, a tragedy happened in our life and we lose our taste to pursue the material pursuit. No more sweet in the material things. Then I try little bit what the spiritual teachers Swami says. I will just listen. The people around me says that listen to him. You may get certain relief. Even though I don't believe in traditional, I'm talking about a particular individual. Even though he don't believe in traditional teachers or swamis or sages, right now he's in a very unpleasant life due to some tragedies happened in one's life, certain money loss, certain break in the relationship. All these things make the mind completely out of the material life. They don't feel any taste at all. Now this person accidentally entered into a spiritual pursuit. He don't have any preparatory steps. He's just listening what this person says. Now, for that person, it's very important in order to have the complete result of the spirituality, in order to have the complete accomplishments in the spirituality, we should be ready. Our mind should be ready. A mind which is prepared can easily grasp the secret which is told by the traditional teacher. And the blissful thing become something extraordinary if we are prepared. It might be ourselves. Still we miss if we are not ready in our pursuit. So a person without any preparation enter into the spiritual pursuit. And listening to some traditional teachings, even though teaching is very good, he can listen more and more times, but it doesn't work in one's life. In practical, it seems to be not working at all. Or I cannot do, I cannot practice what is told as theory by the traditional teacher. My life doesn't want to go along with the teachings of the traditional teacher, even though I love it. It is not getting owned by me. Even we can say 1,000 times a same idea or a same plan or a same thing. If we are not prepared properly, the things will be waiting for your readiness. So readiness is important even in spirituality, at the same time in material life also. While you are studying driving, how many times you have gone to the wrong direction with your car? But after a period of time, you started driving the car through the midst of crowded city. The preparation what you have taken made you more confident to drive a car through the city. Similarly, the preparation to reach the goal is important. After entering to the spiritual pursuit, still you have to do the preparatory steps if you are not done. All the scriptures announce the preparatory steps need to perform in one's life in order to own the knowledge. If not, it will become an intellectual idea. Intellectual idea will not help the person to own. Lot of intellectual ideas are there, which are not practical. It's very important. Owning the knowledge in practical, after having an amount of contemplation, what you have listened, you become that. Becoming the knowledge is meant by me, or ascertaining the knowledge. Information is always intellectual. Lord Yama has packed a very big idea in this verse. That's why I am elaborating. Suppose I say, crow has no teeth. It's an information we all know. There is no horn for a horse. There is no hair for a tortoise, turtle. These are all intellectual information. An information which doesn't connect with you. It's just an information you enjoy when you listen. But information and ascertainment, asserting something, assimilating something is different. When I say you are Atman, it's an intellectual information. Lord Yama also going to talk about the contemplation and assimilation of the knowledge, owing the knowledge. So intellectual information means there is no connection between what you have listened and what you are. But assimilation of knowledge means what you have listened has a connection because that you are. When you go to a hospital and see a doctor, doctor give lot of information regarding the anatomy, what is kept in front of him. These are all intellectual information. After looking to your eyes, nose, and mouth, he gives certain messages. Your stomach has certain complaint. I can see certain symptoms in your eyes. Inside your mouth, there are some ulcers. Even though you ignore because it's all small dots. Your teeth have certain color changes. You should check your stomach thoroughly. There should be a complete checkup of your stomach. This is not an information, correct? This is a knowledge which you have to take yourself because that knowledge connects with your life. When he talks about anatomy, that also is an information, but that doesn't connect with you. But when he told certain things which you are having, owning, you have to connect. This is called assimilation of knowledge. An information which has a connection with the individual. Those information which are not connected with the individual is just an information. Most of the people think that spirituality is an information, which is an utter a wrong idea. Spirituality is a pursuit which is connected with the individual. What you have listened, that you have to be. We need to change. We need to work on that in order to have a change. For the change, we don't have to pull a bulldozer. We need not to pull any car, or we need not to do any hard work. We need to do certain things to give up in our life. We need to give up certain things which we were doing in a wrong way. Keeping some wrong notions about oneself made the person more disturbed, more turbulence inside the mind, more greedy in this material world, more selfish in the material world. All are due to wrong information. More and more competitive in this contemporary world. All these things are due to wrong information. But all other people around me also like this only. I'm not talking about them. You are right now in the spiritual pursuit, so I can discuss with you. I'm not interested to talk who are living an ordinary life. I am talking to a person who is listening to the traditional scriptures. And I am talking about the preparatory steps. And I am talking about the things to give up in one's life. There is no practically hard work in spirituality. But there are certain things you need to give up what you are already doing in your life. In the material life, we may get some advice from our doctor. Please, you give up drinking. Please, you give up smoking. Please, you stop to eat meat. There also we need to give up certain things. Similarly, here, in the spiritual pursuit, in order to achieve the goal of the spirituality, complete accomplishment, one need to accomplish the goal. For that, one needs to do certain disciplines, and those disciplines are in the form of giving up certain things or bringing the mind from the external world slowly towards the internal world. External world is full of duality, something other than me, and I am happy to enjoy other than me. It can be in the form of a human being. A female will be searching for a male to get married. It can be in the form of a expensive perfume, a toy, a car, anything other than what is there in this world is called duality. I mean, Dvaitam in Sanskrit. Completely, I am merged in Dvaitam. Full. I am dealing with the different things in the world. And this world is called Dvaita Prapancham, dualistic world. External world is completely various things in the creation which are attractive, which are not attractive, which can give certain happiness, which can give some pain. Different things are there. A rose flower is a thing for happiness. In order to receive a rose flower is a situation of bringing happiness. At the same time, it has thorns. Thorns are subject to give you sad or grief. So completely, Dvaita Prapancham, the dualistic world is filled with different things. And these different things always bring either happiness or unhappiness. Both are under the realm of duality, happiness and unhappiness. Material happiness, material unhappiness will fall under the realm of duality. As a person, in order to get more focused towards the goal, I should do certain preparatory steps after entering into this spiritual pursuit, or after listening to the traditional teacher who is called Guru. Guru Samipe Upavishya, sitting very near to the Guru. Shrunoti, he listens. The Guru, the traditional teacher, is unfolding the subject matter in a way the person can understand. It's not that just he giving the meaning in his own language. He is completely aware of the person who is sitting right in front of him, the level, the standard, from which degree he is listening, in which level he is listening to my words. So I should put these big ideas in his mind as though he can understand in that way. Even though my ideas are big, it may not easily grasped by the listener. So I should put in which way he can understand. So disciplines also will be like that, only unfolded by the traditional teachers or scriptures. So bringing back, withdrawing the mind from the dualistic world or the external world towards the internal world, which is more pleasant, more calm, more peaceful, more energetic. More you go into the dualistic world, you drain your energy. You cannot. You drain your energy. More you come towards the internal world from the external world, more you restore your energy, conserve your energy. The disturbances will be less. Unhappiness, the level of unhappiness will be less. Serenity will be always restored. Tranquility, shantata, very calm and quiet. Dealing with the external world is so much disturbances. It will attract so much disturbances. So if I start to talk, I can lot of things I want to talk. External world means it's a pool of unhappiness, no happiness at all. It seems to be attractive. Once you go inside, it's all just weeds and worms. Anything. So dualistic world can only bring sorrow, worries, etc., etc. So Lord Death is giving, making the Nachiketas as a cause to reveal this secret. May one withdraw, may one merge, yachid, withdraw, merge, sink, a lot of words we can say, resolve. May one merge to the manas, mind. What is to be merged to the mind? Words. How we can understand practically? One needs to be very quiet in day-to-day life, keeping oneself away from this external world, which is very much dramatic. The more you are quiet with your words, more you are disciplined with your words, more the things will be coming towards you to disturbance, to disturb you. The less things. The words have the capacity to communicate properly towards a person, to agitate a person also. We need to train our tongue. We need to train our words. Where I should use, where I should not use. Just keeping quiet with oneself, reading the proper books, listening to the words. And this is a representation of all other senses. Withdraw one's own tongue, withdraw one's own ears, withdraw one's own eyes, withdraw one's own activities. May one focus towards the spiritual pursuit. Yachet, withdraw oneself. The walk, the words. May one withdraw the words and put inside the mind. It's very important. The word yachet should be understood or extended towards each and every senses. May one withdraw the activities. May one withdraw the vision towards the external world. That is why meditation is very common among the spiritual people, because meditation is a preparatory step of bringing the eyes from the external world towards the internal world. Closing the eyes and looking to the mind or looking to the name and form, one single name and form, which will be helpful in one's life. So, yachet, may one merge, may one withdraw, may one sink. May one make the words to sink in the mind. So, from the gross towards the subtle again. Really speaking, maunam, practicing silence once in a week is a big discipline among the spiritual seekers in India. They don't talk to anybody for one day. Morning 6 to evening 6, 12 hours. So I can do action with my fingers or hands. No, you just sit in the room and read the proper books and think about the good things, and you don't want to be disturbed or you don't want to enter into the external world. Maunam, performing silence for a day. Energy level will be, you cannot imagine. Once you stop talking, that day your energy level will be like this. So here it's a proper discipline in one's life, withdrawing the senses from the external world, and may one focus to the mind which has listened to the traditional teachers' teachings. Just looking towards the mind will not helpful. An enlightened mind, what we are saying here. A mind which has already listened to the traditional teacher's teaching. After that, a person slowly withdrawing the senses out of maturity from the external world to his mind, focusing towards the mind. Prajnaha, an enlightened one, a person who has listened for a length of time towards the traditional teacher's teachings. Prajnaha, a wise person, an enlightened one, should withdraw the senses from the external world and may one resolve in the mind, may one focus towards the mind. Mind is also something an extraordinary instrument given by the Lord. We are going to talk about mind in coming verses. So then from the mind, may one turn the focus or resolve the mind into the Hiranyagarbha. I already explained you what is Hiranyagarbha. I not here Hiranyagarbha, intellect. Mind should resolve into the intellect. We will talk after intellect. So senses are being withdrawn into the mind. They resolve inside the mind as though you are sleeping. A person who is sitting the meditation and a person who is sleeping will have the same level when you saw both of them. Sitting and sleeping, sitting and meditating. That person who is meditating has resolved his senses with full aware inside the mind. A person who is sleeping also withdrawn the senses, unaware of the situation. Both have resolved the senses inside the mind, one with the total aware, total conscious, one without any conscious. So there are differences in sleeping and in meditation. And from the mind, may one resolve the mind into the intellect. Withdraw the mind, because mind is a child. It goes to various things. It goes to the past impressions. It goes to the attractive things. It will be very adamant towards the things which you like. But intellect, somebody who has listened to the wise words, who has gone through certain disciplines, who understood what is to be done in one's life and who understood what is not to be done, this intellect will throw some idea towards the mind. And even though mind don't want to listen, may one practice to make the mind follow what is gained by the intellect. Most of the people say, I want to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning in order to get a good memory, but I will be very late to sleep at 12 o'clock. Then how can I wake up? They don't want to practice. They know that when you wake up early, your memory power will be more good than what you were. The more you sleep at daytime, the memory power, the energy level, everything will go down. So what I want to say, mind will be always ready to do what you like. The intellect will be always ready to do what is proper and what is favor in your life. So may one conclude the life in order to go with the intellect, what they listened from the traditional teacher. Stick with the real things, what you have listened intellectually from the wise people or the traditional teachers. Don't go along with the mind. Mind will be always insisting you to smoke, to drink, to go behind somebody, to go behind certain material pleasures. But the intellectual, which we were studying for 1 hour, in at least once in a week, will grasp all the ideas which are good and favorable in your life. But the mind will not allow the intellect to do what is proper. Mind will be always running behind what you like in your life. So here Lord Yama says that any enlightened person should resolve the mind inside the intellect, listening towards the voice, listening towards the Guru. One should follow the intellect, not with the mind. And the intellect should resolve into Hiranyagarbha. That is called a transcendental. You know, up to intellect, I can understand. What is this Hiranyagarbha? Hiranyagarbha is the first individual who has the capacity to hold all other individual who is coming in the creation. Sum of all individual. It's the pure consciousness without thinking anything, but you are aware of your body, you are aware of your mind, you are aware of the intellect. That stage is called Hiranyagarbha. Your consciousness, which is aware of your body, which is aware of your mind, which is aware of your intellect, and what is going around also you are aware of that, then that state is called Hiranyagarbha state in meditation. Already you are that. So, withdrawing the senses from the external world, running here and there, and stay in one place and go on inside the mind. From the mind, may one divert to the intellect. From the intellect, may one go to this state of mind, Hiranyagarbha. There, your activities will be very less in the daytime also, in the nighttime also. Your intake and outtake will be very less. Whether it is food or pleasures, it will be less. Whether it is something you want to do, also very less. When you are completely aware of the things around you, and you know the simplicity of the things, and you are aware of what is right in your life to be done. From the Mahat, from the Hiranyagarbha, may one get focused towards the intrinsic nature. May one focus towards the intrinsic nature. What is that intrinsic nature? Pure consciousness. You are not aware of your body. You are not aware of your individuality. You are not at all aware of the things happening externally. You are just in a place and contemplating in your consciousness, just resolving everything in this consciousness. That intrinsic nature is the real fact. And on that real fact, a superimposition called body happened. And I came to know that this body is a superimposition. Just I give up the notion of the body and sit contemplating on the consciousness. Even 1 minute you can sit without having any other things inside the mind or regarding any body. That itself conserve a lot of energy. The intrinsic nature, thinking of your own intrinsic nature will help the person to give up the past impressions, to burn the desires, to burn the unwanted thinking thoughts. Everything will get burned just when you sit in a posture and thinking of one's own consciousness, which is the real fact of the entire creation, which is the locus of the entire creation. That consciousness you have to listen completely from the traditional teacher again and again for a length of time. After listening, Shravanam, there is a flow of thoughts only regarding that mananam. Mananam means thinking about what I have listened. Various doubts will come. When again and again I listen, the things, the doubt will get vanished, doubt will be raised. That mananam, after that, within the contemplation, assimilation of the knowledge, what I have listened, that now I am. Just sitting without knowing the weather, without knowing who are there near to you, without knowing anything other than what your consciousness, because that consciousness is the original thing, the true fact, where the superimposition of the entire creation has occurred. So, this reality one should follow, one should go through the preparatory steps and reach to this reality. Yached vangmanasi prajnaha tat yached jnane atmani. Then the mind should resolve in the intellect. From again the person resolve the intellect into the Hiranyagarbha, which is the all-pervasive individual. Don't get confused of anything. Hiranyagarbha is the sum total of the whole individual which you are. You need not to go anywhere to see Hiranyagarbha. When you have that aware of your limitations, still you can contemplate on yourself, but you know there is a creation, there is a body, there is a mind, everything. Then that level is called Hiranyagarbha. And Nietzsche, listening lot of time towards the traditional teacher will only help the person to sit in a place and go for a length of time without knowing anything, unaware of anything, any situations. And that person reaches where? Shante Atmani. Shantaha, tranquil. Tranquility is the intrinsic nature of mind. You need not to accomplish tranquility. Tranquility is already there. The peace is always there. You just know the peace. You just know the calmness. You just restore it. Like when you lose your specs, which is in your head, somebody told your specs is in your head. You discover the specs. Similarly, you discover the tranquility. You discover the peace. You need not to cultivate, you need not to invent the peace. In order to gain the peace, you only to do is to give up the wrong motions and the external world and sit quietly and go on and on of thinking the sentences which are given by the traditional guru, and go on and on in your consciousness. I will explain the last two sentences again in the next class. We will conclude now. Om Swasti Prajabhya Paripalayantam Nyayena Margena Mahim Mahishaha Gobrahmanibhya Shukamastu Nityam Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Kale Varshadu Parjanyaha Prativesasya Shagini Deshoyam Kshoparahitaha Brahmana Santu Nirbhayaha Sarve Bhavantu Suginaha Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschat Dukkha Bhag Bhavet Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityurma Amritam Gamaya Om Purnamatav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamataya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om